What's going on, plugs? It's your boy Jordan Lee Walker again. Really, I just wanted to make a video kind of talking about what to expect whenever you make an event or you're putting it together, and kind of the stuff that nobody really talks about, right? These are mainly things that I figured out on my own through experiences and me having my own mixer. So I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of my world of what I've seen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Number one is no shows. So you really easily could put an event together. You can have an Eventbrite. It can say that you have 20 people showing up. It can say you have 100 showing up. But I know in my head that usually is a fraction of people that usually will decide to show up. Let's say you have an event that's coming up at the end of the month, right? People will tell you that they're coming out. You got about 30, 40, 50 people saying, yeah, they're coming out solid, right? I usually take the number and I usually subtract it by maybe, it depends. So if I'm at my last event, it said 40 people were showing up. But out of those 40 people, let's say you could take 10 out, maybe 15 of those people, because you will see that people will last minute will say, oh, I'm not feeling well, or my kid has something going on with them, or like, hey, I forgot that I had something planned on this day. And some of those are legit, and some of those I'm just like, okay, well, you knew that this event was coming up, but cool. My thought process on that is the right people will always show up, and the right people that are supposed to be there will be there. So just be prepared that when you do events, that you just have to just know that not everybody is going to show up. And the cool thing about it though is people will show up unexpectedly because they will invite other people that you didn't even talk to. So that's the flip side. So you might be like, hey, I got 50 people coming out, but realistically, maybe 30 of those people might show up. Out of those 30 that I personally invited, those 30 people might invite one person, which can easily take it to 60, or maybe out of those 30, maybe 10 of those people invite one friend to come with them. So that's one thing, right? Number two, so you don't just post on your wall, your timeline. You actually do a lot of commenting and a lot of DMing. This is kind of where you can do your collaborations. This is where you will go and directly message somebody or email them. It depends on how professional I want to be. Sometimes I can't email them, but if I want to have them see my page, I want them to kind of see my content. Like from the moment that I send them a message, I want them to click on my profile and go to see like what I've already done. If I'm trying to do like, hey, you should come out, we're networking, we're getting people together, it's really relaxed, things like that. That way people can kind of see it. But I noticed that if I just blast, my turnout isn't as great versus if I blast, tag the people that I know would be interested, and then from there I'll comment or anything like that to kind of get their attention. And do the old school way. I make one connection at a time. I go to one DM, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? If there's anything engaging on their profile, I'll start a conversation. And if I feel like I get to that point where I do want to invite them to come out so we can talk more or network more, things like that, then I will definitely do that. So just be prepared to just make a list mentally or on paper. It's better if you do it on paper or whatever you use, or CRM, and go ahead and just try to target those people and make that relationship one by one, because you might have 100 followers, right? And out of 100 followers, you might go ahead and blast it out and they might see it. But if you reach out personally to those people, they will most likely show up because they feel that personal connection. Selling. So it's not so much selling the tickets or selling the vendor fee. You gotta just sell them on why they should show up and why it's beneficial, because everybody got a life, everybody got problems, everybody got something going on, and sometimes they don't want to show up. Sometimes you gotta kind of give them a reason to show up. So, you know, like what exactly is the setting of the event? Is it a mixer? Is there alcohol? You know, some people want to come out, there's a little alcohol so that they can kind of relax and, you know, liquid courage, right? You know, is it food? Do you want to sell them, hey, there's food there? You know, what kind of food? Is it seafood? Is it burgers? Is it fries and pizza? Is it soul food? Is it, you know, Hispanic and, you know, tacos? Like what exactly there? So you have to sell them on a reason to why they should show up. Because if you say, hey, I'm having an event, and that's about it, it's like, you know, what else? Like, you know, so some other things too to kind of think about if you are selling like a vendor, because I like to have vendors at my events and I have a whole list of vendors. So vendor list, what I like to do is I kind of like personally get on the phone with them, call them, hey, you know, I see that you either applied to be a vendor or, you know, hey, we're looking for a vendor. We wanted to, you know, see if you would like to come out, you know, blah, 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 blah. This is what the experience is. I sell them on the experience of what other vendors have for our Plughub events. So, you know, like, hey, we have a good time. You network. You usually, you know, collaborate with the other people that are there. You know, just get them to feel like, man, if I don't go, I'm gonna miss out. And obviously right now, everybody wants to have that extra exposure, or they want to be in the setting where they can promote or sell products in their business, right? Definitely you want to sell yourself and sell the vision of what your event is going to be. You can do the events by yourself. I've done my events by myself. I started off doing dinner parties, something small like that. And then we like to do activities every so often. So do my best to go ahead and try to paint the picture and be like, hey, look, like we're having a Halloween event coming up. So this is how the team will look. Hey, we're having a Halloween themed networking events based off of what we've already done. So, you know, imagine what we've done with the food vendors and the games and the contests and the giveaways. But we're gonna do that through a Halloween experience. And, you know, I'm looking just for anybody that wants to volunteer. Sometimes volunteers would definitely help you out, because whenever I did my pop-up, the volunteers were a big part of that event, the success of that event, because they helped me check people in while I was walking around trying to make sure the vendors were good. So, you know, that's something that I personally did. And then I had a lot of in-kind sponsors. Like, there's sponsors that give you money, and then there's in-kind, basically, where they provide a free service where you don't have to pay them and they don't have to charge you. It's a mutual, beneficial, collaborational playing where basically it's like, hey, let's drop everything and let's create something together. Hopefully these tips definitely help you out. I'm, you know, definitely just open to helping out by sharing my knowledge through my experiences of what I've done. I'm hoping that eventually I will be able to help teach you guys a little bit more about my mixers and what I've done, and I usually post videos kind of like the behind the scenes of what the space looks like and what it looks like when it's full of people after the event, to kind of tell you what my thought process was and to show you when it was live, like how it turned out. So thank you guys. So if you want to get connected with me, the best place to reach out to me personally is Facebook. But if you want to reach out to my business page on Instagram or Facebook, you can do that as well. But Plughub Network are both of those platforms. I basically just kind of post like the highlights of our community on Instagram, but on Facebook, in my Facebook group, I post more about more discussional topics. You know, I'll do polls, that way I can get my data research, figure out, you know, learn a little bit more about you guys. So that's called the Great Plug Network. It's a Facebook group, but if you want to follow my business page, it's Plughub Network, and I am on Facebook as my personal profile as Jordan Lee Walker. You know, so definitely check us out. We're pre-launching Plughub Plus, so if you do want to learn a little bit more about picking my brain and ask me questions a little bit about events and the mixers, and you know how to position yourself in that setting, like either if you're showing up to somebody else's event or if you're just trying to do your own event. So eventually I will be charging more for those, but for Plughub Plus, we're starting off at $10, just a monthly subscription. What comes with that is I like to challenge people. I'm that kind of person. I'll walk up to you with my cell phone, put the light bright on, be like, hey, who are you? What do you do? You know, tell us about your business and where can we find you. So we do a lot of activities. I do a lot of accountability work. So, you know, if you're a member and you want that extra exposure, I'm gonna make sure that you get it, but I'll make sure you work for it. So thank you. Check out future videos. Hopefully, you know, I definitely provide you some value today. Subscribe and leave me a comment about anything else that I probably forgot. I made this in the heat of the moment and I just wanted to make sure I share it. So leave me a comment and let me know if there's anything else I can cover for you. Thank y'all. Love y'all.